The Taconic and Green Regional School District will be holding its third annual meeting since its formation in 2017. The first one in 2018 was held at the Floodbrook School in Londonderry, and this year it will be held at the Dorset School on Tuesday, February 25th. The meeting will start at 7 p.m. There will be 8 articles voters will vote on during the meeting on the 25th. They include routine matters like electing a district moderator, a district clerk, and treasurer, as well as hearing reports from school officials and discussing 9 other articles that voters will decide by Australian ballot on Tuesday, March 3rd. Voting takes place at every town hall that's part of the regional school district: Manchester, Dorset, Sunderland, Peru, Danby, Mount Tabor, Landgrove, Weston, and Londonderry. Part of their work on Tuesday, March 3rd, will be to elect 6 school board directors. Under the regional format, voters from all the towns get to vote on the school district board members, although those board members have to come from specific towns, and the board seats are apportioned by the individual towns so that all will have at least one representative on the school board. We spoke with Bennington-Rutland Supervisory Union Superintendent Jacqueline Wilson, who oversees the Taconic and Green Regional District, and who will be retiring at the end of the school year, about what's on the warning and in the budget.
The main purpose is to give the voters an opportunity to ask questions about any of the budget items or anything that may surface as a result of the budget proposal, and they'll have an opportunity to ask questions about that, and that's under Article 11 of our T&G. And also they will have an opportunity to discuss. Usually we have somebody, Mark Tajan, someone's there from BBA, because the voters also vote under Article 10. They vote on the tuition rate to pay all of our independent secondary schools in Vermont. So that's another item that the voters will vote on March 3rd at town meeting. So it gives an opportunity to discuss all of those issues. We have a few other things that voters will be voting on March 3rd. We're asking the voters to establish a tax stabilization fund. We want to do that. That's a place where if we have reserve monies that we would ask every year. We have to ask the voters to transfer those reserve. If we had a budget that we had, we didn't expend all of our funds, we would ask the voters, do you agree to put those funds into tax stabilization for future years if we should need to draw on those to keep our tax rate down? So we first need to establish that fund, and then we always ask the voters every year if they agree to transfer monies into that fund. So that's a fund we're asking to establish, and then to transfer funds into that. And then we're also asking the voters to approve monies into the reserve fund for our building and grounds, $250,000 to go into our building and grounds fund, which we believe is really essential. We have 5 schools. They're all schools that are old, but they're in good shape, but we want to keep them that way. So we have a capital plan that looks at our needs for the next 10 years, and we've identified what we believe is essential to meet the needs of maintaining those buildings over the next decade. So I think voters can expect that we would, be asking on an annual basis to put monies into that fund. So I think given that we have 5 buildings is pretty reasonable. Homeowners know what the costs are to maintain homes. So we have some big buildings. So we're asking for that. And then we always ask for monies for the bus fund. So we're asking for $125,000. Again, we have a schedule for replacement on buses that we have that all planned out for the next 10 years. And that just puts us in a position to be able to purchase when we need to do that. So those are the big ones. Just in the last day, we put out our annual report. You can pick up these annual reports at any of the schools, at any of the town offices, at the Manchester Library, at the BRSU office. It's all available online too. If you don't want the paper, just go to brsu.org and go to the school district and you'll find it. So we really encourage you. We spend a lot of time putting our annual reports together, and I think the most valuable part of our annual report is the FAQ section. We try to anticipate all the questions that our voters would have, and put that information out there. We listen carefully throughout the budget process and see what surfaces for questions and make sure that we capture that in our annual report. So I really encourage folks to take a look at that. And, and again, never hesitate. If you've got a question, give us a call. We're happy to answer whatever we can. Because it's complicated. It's a big budget. It's a $32 million budget. And it's important that you understand what's in there.
Again, the annual meeting will be held at the Dorset School on Tuesday, February 25th, starting at 7 p.m., with voting to follow on Tuesday, March 3rd. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.